Before you begin, Councilmember Hutt, sergeants, that's the second time I've heard somebody shouting out. Is it the same person who shouted out before? Can you identify? Was that Mr. Spindler? Okay, I'm going to order Mr. Spindler removed from the council chambers pursuant to Rule 12. I specifically warned about that earlier, so please show him to the door. He's excluded pursuant to Rule 12. Before you begin, Councilmember Hutt, Mr. Spindler, please exit the council chambers immediately and silently. Leave the council chambers immediately and silently.
I'm so sorry.
You're now delaying our meeting, and I'm instructing you to leave immediately. Immediately leave, Mr. Spindler.
Sorry.
Sergeants, show Mr. Spindler to the door, please. Mr. Spindler, you're delaying our meeting. You're continuing to disrupt the meeting and you're delaying it. Leave immediately. Sergeants, really, we've waited long enough. Have Mr. Spindler exit the meeting.
I don't need this bullshit. I don't need this fucking bullshit. To sit there and watch you fucking cover up a marriage license.
Get out of our chambers, Mr. Spindler. You are excluded. I've ordered you removed. Leave silently. For the record, Mr. Spindler is continuing to shout out and resisting the lawful instructions that I've given him and that the sergeants are giving him now. I apologize, Councilmember Hutt, and I apologize to our guests for the long delay that's resulting from Mr. Spindler's disruption of this meeting. I apologize to our guests. Councilmember Hutt, you have the floor.
Thank you so much. First, I want to say to our visitors, I'm really sorry that you had to go through that. It's a tough part of our job, and I apologize that you had to hear those things.
All right, so I'd like item 9, and since you did not change or suspend the rules with a two-thirds vote, general comment.
You'll have 1 minute for item 9.
Okay, so on item 9 is a verbal report on inside starving. So I'm supposed to give comment on this verbal report. Where is the report? We haven't heard the report. We can't see the report. What are we commenting on? Why didn't the mayor come and give her a presentation already? Or why can't we find the report anywhere online? What are we commenting on exactly? What's the status of Inside Safe? We don't know. We can't give any comment on it because we haven't heard the verbal report yet. You just blew off like an hour on, a presentation on a social media influencer, and you let KDL lie about how he loves K-Town, but we haven't heard the verbal report on Inside Starving yet. Where is it? We kind of need the report if we're going to give comment on it. So where's the report?
The mayor and this council need to stop lying to Angelenos, telling people that you housed 21,000 people. No, you didn't. You housed less than 200 people, and you shoved 21,000 people in the shelters. So my question is to you, do you got 21,000 pairs of house keys to pass out? Because if you don't, then you need to stop throwing people in the shelters and start housing people, because you're good at raiding encampments and throwing people in shelters. But what you suck at is building housing for homeless people. And Proposition Triple H is a good example of that. We gave you $1 billion. We got less than 3,000 units. And it took you 7 years to do it. So how long do you expect 21,000 people to sit in the shelter and wait for this sorry-ass council to build housing? Something you ain't did in over a century, right? And so you're going to have a mad exodus back to the streets. This whole thing, the LA Alliance case, and what y'all do.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Your time's expired. Next speaker, please. Thank you, sir. Your time's expired. Next speaker, please. Next speaker, come on up. Next speaker, please. Your time has expired, sir. Your time has expired. Please leave the podium so the next speaker can speak.
Okay, first of all, good morning, Korea, Anya. I have a few words. My name is Mr. Pancake, and I'd like to say Happy Martin Luther King Day. Happy birthday to you. Mr. Pancake, LA Can activist, housing organizer, and artist. First of all, let's let this saturate. Housing is a human right. I love my city, born and raised here in the decade of the 50s. I support these properties that the city is acquiring are exclusively for permanent supporting housing, not inside safe for all who want to be housed, our most vulnerable. While folks are waiting for housing, they're dying in the streets. The answer to homelessness is housing. Once getting housed to stay housed. It's about sustainability, safe, sanitary, habitable housing. Did you hear that, City Council?
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Your time has expired. Next speaker, please.
Speaker, which item would you like to speak on?
Number 9.
You'll have 1 minute.
Good morning to everyone here except anti-black arson fan Kevin De Leon. My name is Adam from the LA Community Action Network, here today to listen to Mayor Bass's verbal report on Inside Safe. We're interested to hear her talk about how, despite using language that makes the public believe that thousands are being brought in permanently, how in reality only up to 255 people in the past year have been permanently housed, to the tune of $70 million. We're interested in hearing how, while 6 unhoused people die every day in the city of Los Angeles, we're interested to hear how is Inside Safe different from any other program that is complaint-driven, that centers the complaints of housed people in the capital of business interests to disappear visible signs of poverty like encampments via the very real threat of police enforcement and punishment. We're interested to hear her, but we're interested to see actual meaningful action to permanently house people. House keys, not handcuffs.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Yeah, just speaking on this report on the Inside Safe program, just want to point out that Mayor Bass touts that 20,000 people have been brought inside, but only 255 have been moved into permanent housing. That's roughly 1%. And just uplifting again that, you know, these are carceral solutions. They're complaint driven. They kind of rely on the dehumanizing language we've heard come out of the LAPD and everyone else about these dangerous encampments, about these dangerous unhoused people. And lastly, I want to address the fact that I know Academy Media Arts is in this building, and I know students here are talking about the fact that their school's right next to the Grand Hotel. And I hope the students think about why people have to stay in temporary housing at the Grand Hotel while the city is so resourced. And I hope the administration, Omar Graham, the principal, don't utilize the same demonizing language of unhoused people in order to get resources. But yeah, I think this is really important educationally. Think about why this body that has billions of dollars has to, rely on temporary shelter when there's so much permanent housing that they could build.
Thank you very much, sir. Next speaker, please.
Item 9, please.
You'll have 1 minute.
You say that Inside Safe is working, that unhoused folks are getting the services they need. But we've seen that's not what's going on now. You're locking them in hotels and leaving them to starve. And after it's been a year, fewer than 2,000 unhoused residents have been moved inside, and out of that, how many received permanent housing? That number is about 255. And I said, where the hell did all that money go? $67 million spent, and every day 6 more people die on the street while you tell yourselves you did a good job.
My name is Dana Hammond. I'm the founder CEO of Academy Media Arts. Founded this school. We moved to downtown August 1, 2022. We were told we were right adjacent to Inside Safe at 345 South Figueroa. We've had to shut down our school because of safety issues of multiple residences entering our space. As of Wednesday, we had another incident that the individual came, assaulted our security, entered our building. We've been meeting with the city for over a year, every Friday. I'm supposed to be on the call at 11 o'clock, but we have our students here. We had 98% of our students graduate and go to college. This is my life's work. We still have our 25-year lease, and I have multiple incident reports that you're looking at that we informed the landlord of the challenges. It's not safe anymore, so we had to move the students in the middle of a school year, and they had to go to a different school. This is a state-of-the-art facility. It was a former international Chinese private school that black and brown kids had an opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Next speaker, please.
I'd like to speak on item number 9. I apologize for my voice.
You'll have 1 minute, speaker.
Okay. My name is Valeria Navis, and I am a senior at Academy of Media Arts. Sadly, our school is being closed today because of the safety issues caused by the Inside Safe program. We have shared a building with them for the past year and have been lied to and traumatized. There have been various break-ins from the homeless residents of the program, as well as traumatizing encounters with them. Every day I walk to school and I have to watch my step to ensure that I'm not stepping on human feces. I have to look around and ensure that my surroundings are safe. I have worked very hard for my future. And it sucks that I have to throw it all away because of the program. I support homelessness, but we're supporting it at what cost? Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hello, good afternoon.
Which item would you like to speak to?
Number 9.
You'll have 1 minute.
Hello. My name is Humberto Teucla. I am a student at Academy of Media Arts, and we are currently on the verge of getting shut down due to the fact that we share a building with the Inside Safe Foundation. And over the past couple of weeks, we have experienced multiple break-ins of homeless going into our facility and threatening, like they have been getting themselves drugs coming into our school. That due to that fact, we've been getting like lockdowns multiple times, which has affected our community and our education. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Speaker, which item would you like to speak to?
Number 9.
You'll have 1 minute.
Hi, my name is Tyler Key. I am a freshman at Academy of Media Arts. I want to say that AMA is a great school. We are unfortunately getting closed down because of all the homelessness that's been happening here in downtown. Homeless people have came into the school, broke in, loitered, crashed a car into our school building, and there's been so much happening here, non-stop issues regarding the homelessness. We need your help to allow us to stay here, open here at AMA. And we care about our future, and there is future engineers here, doctors, lawyers here, and we want to grow as a community. I came to AMA around October, and I really loved the environment, and they made me feel safe, and I can't stand the thought of losing it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next speaker, please. Good morning.
Hi.
Which item would you like to speak to?
Item 9.
Okay, you'll have 1 minute.
Okay. My name is Haley Hernandez, and I am a freshman at AMA. It is very unfortunate that my school had to shut down because of this Inside Safe program. That isn't. That's connected with the shelter. On October 28, 2023, I have witnessed some drug dealing right in front of the school. I've also seen a homeless man go down our stairs, which obviously in both situations has made me feel uncomfortable and concerned knowing that I can't do anything about it. Yes, I know it's upsetting seeing people unhoused, but it's also upsetting seeing kids get cut off from their education in the future because of this situation.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, please. Good morning.
Good morning.
Speaker, which item would you like to speak to?
Item 9.
You'll have 1 minute.
My name is Naomi Torres. I'm a freshman at AMA, and I feel like it's not fair that my school had to shut down over the program Inside Safe. I have seen many things as a high schooler shouldn't be seeing. We come to school to learn, not to be seeing things we shouldn't. One day after school, we stay for a dance program we have, and I was walking to my car and saw many drug dealers, and my mom had to witness it too. I'm a first-generation high school freshman. I work very hard and I am interested in school. Academy of Media Arts has been a great way for me to learn and have that academic education I should have. And unfortunately, that my high school, and it is unfortunate that my high school freshman year has to end for something that was under my control. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please. Good morning.
Good morning. I'd like to speak on item 9.
You'll have 1 minute.
Hi, my name is Kiara Morrison, and I'm a junior at AMA, Academy of Media Arts. Today, I wanted to speak about the LA Grand Hotel security and their poor job at preventing residents from intruding our school during school hours while simultaneously breaking our lease contract. With needles left on campus and homeless citizens breaking into our school through the 3rd floor, it poses a threat to our education and our safety. I feel that there needs to be an increase or change in the level of security that the LA Grand Hotel has. Our school security has done a better job at taking action to prevent these intruders from causing harm or any wrongdoing to the students. I feel that it is unfair that the hotel security is not up to standard for the situation at hand. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Which item would you like to speak to?
Item 9.
You'll have 1 minute.
My name is Alex. I am a sophomore at AMA, and before I start off, I'm not against the Inside Safe program. I want all the homeless people to have a safe place to live, but they can't be doing that while my education and the education of my peers are at stakes. Just recently, we had a break-in while we were going to lunch, and I feel threatened because this is very dangerous. I can't be living in we can't be going to the same school in the same building as the homeless people while they're on drugs and while they're on some sort of narcotics or drugs. While I'm not against, as I said, I'm not against the Inside Safe program, but I wish that they're to be moved to somewhere else. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Speaker, which item would you like to speak to?
Item number 9, right? Item number 9.
You'll have 1 minute.
Hello, my name is Damon Brown, and I'm a very educated scholar that just recently transferred to AMA back in September. And I see a lot of things like needles and broken glass and human feces and a lot of dirty stuff around. And then sometimes I notice how the homeless people, they're like tracking the bugs too. And I think that's not a very safe environment for my school, and that's pretty much why we're like shutting down, because of all the homeless people.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, please.
Speaker, which item would you like to speak to?
I'd like to speak on item 9.
You'll have 1 minute.
Hi, my name is Dylan Toomer. I go to AMA and I'm a junior there. As my peers already brought up the homelessness situation, and truly I sympathize with them, but at the end of the day, it's my future. And this may sound selfish, but I just want to make the most of it. But by them being there, it's ruining my education. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Speaker, which item would you like to speak to?
Item 9.
You'll have 1 minute.
My name is Leilani McGinnis, and I am a student at Academy of Media Arts. I've been in this building for almost 2 years, and I would like to say that I've been seeing the same thing since I've got to our campus, and it's a lot because I'm a well-rounded student, and I know like when I walk sometimes to the bus or I walk to go get me food, I feel very unsafe and uncomfortable, and I often get harassed when I'm walking by myself by people who are doing drugs or people who just show their body parts to theirself, like of themselves, and I don't feel like as a student I should have to see that. And I know students and parents have to see that on a daily when they drop us off in the morning to when they pick us up late after school. And I would just like to say that I wish that there was something you guys can do. That's all.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, please.
Which item would you like to speak to, Speaker?
Item number 9.
You'll have 1 minute.
Good morning, council members. My name is Darwin Gonzalez. I am a student of the Academy of Media Arts, a school that fosters creativity and leadership in downtown LA. As said before, our school is in danger of closing down because of a homeless shelter called the Inside Safe program, occupying the upper levels of the building the school is located on. This means that students have to see things like human indecence, drug abuse, and many safety risks. These are not things that a high school student should go through. This is unsafe and unfair to us and to our founder, Dana Hammond, who has worked for 20 years to give us quality education despite our low-income backgrounds. He is ready to shut down the school if the city does not act. We urge the city to support our school that produces future leaders instead of a shelter that enables people who have given up on their life. We deserve better. We deserve to learn in a safe environment. We deserve to have a bright future. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Speaker, which item would you like to speak to?
Number 9.
You'll have 1 minute.
Hola, muy buenos días, miembros del Consejo. Mi nombre es Brittany Vargas y el día de hoy...
I'm sorry, we're having a little trouble hearing you. If you could bring the mic a little bit closer to your mouth, please.
Hola, muy buenos días, miembros del Consejo. Mi nombre es Brittany Vargas y el día de hoy nuestra escuela se presentó acá por el debido problema que está a punto de cerrar por problemas.
Hello. See, yes, my name is Vargas, and our school is going through this problem that is about to be closed down. Si continúa, por favor.
Y el día de hoy nuestra escuela se presenta acá por el debido problema que está a punto de cerrar.
That's why we are showing up today due to this problem that our school is about to close.
Por problemas que hay, hace unos meses empezaron los problemas con los homeless.
Because of all the problems that we're going through, like a few months ago, all these problems with the homeless started.
Ya que empezaron a meterse a nuestra escuela y no es primera vez que lo hacen.
And they started to get into our school, and it is not the first time that this happens.
Ya que han sido muchas veces ya desde hace 2 años que yo empecé la escuela.
This happened many times since 2 years ago that I've started to come to this school.
Y afuera de nuestra escuela están tomando y fumando. Hace unos meses uno de ellos nos ofreció fumar con ellos, con nuestros compañeros.
And so they're outside from school and they're drinking and they're smoking. A couple of months ago, one of them offered us to go smoke with them, with our companions.
Y otra vez se puso agresivo con una compañera e intentó pegarle.
And one other time, he got aggressive with a fellow student and he tried to hit her.
Y es por eso que nuestro principal quiere cerrar la escuela para poder protegernos para que no pase nada grave.
And that is why the principal wants to close the school, because he's trying to protect us so nothing more serious happens.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
I would like to speak on item number 9.
You'll have 1 minute.
Okay. Hi, my name is Mateo. I am a sophomore at AMA. I usually take the bus to school, and every time I always have to look at the sidewalk to make sure I don't step on human feces on the ground. And also, last Tuesday there was a homeless man who sprinted down the stairwell, injured a security guard, and missed us by 4 minutes. That way we were going down to lunch. If he was any sooner, he could have injured any of the students. So, thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please. Good morning.
Good morning. So I'd like to talk on item 9.
You'll have 1 minute.
Okay. My name is Jean Baltasar. I'm a very dedicated scholar at Academy of Media Arts with a 4.4 GPA and a first-generation Mexican-American. I've always worked hard, and I've always excelled at all my classes, but I'm always deeply concerned about my future. And with this action or this program of the Inside Safe program, I believe that it's not helping. For months, I've seen homeless people walk around with needles in their arms, with needles on the floor. I've seen human feces all over, and I always have concerns. I even saw an unconscious man who looked to be under the influence. My biggest concern is the homeless crisis, because I believe that as a city, as Los Angeles, and as a state of California, I believe that we're putting the homeless crisis over the education system. And my question to the council would be, is the homeless issue more important than the education of Black and brown students? And that's it.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Which item would you like to speak on?
Item 9.
You'll have 1 minute.
My name is Edward Sherlock, and I'm an AMA scholar. Every morning I wake up, me and my sister have to walk up to school every morning around homeless, sitting across the street, doing drugs, having intercourse. This affects me and my sister's future and as a community, because I learn new things and I have a learning journey.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Greetings, City Council members. Good morning. I want to thank you again for providing this. I'm sorry, I'll be speaking to item 9.
You'll have 1 minute.
Sorry about that, it's an emotional moment. Greetings, City Council members. I want to thank you again for providing this platform for our young scholars to empower their voice. Although we empathize with the homeless tragedy that is affecting our communities in the city, and we acknowledge that some efforts are being made to address it, it is indeed vital and our obligation that we protect and prioritize the education and future of our youth. Our AMA scholars, our Academy of Media Arts scholars, are committed to their education. Please join us as partners, collaborators, agents of their academic success. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, please.
Speaker,
morning.
Which item would you like to speak to?
Number 9.
You'll have 1 minute.
Okay, I'm Mary Tassian Williams. I'm an instructor at Academy of Media Arts, and as you've heard all our students and you hear the staff, I would like to bring some outstanding academic achievements of AMA scholars, where you can see the showcase at our school. I don't want to emphasize on the homeless issue, because we do support and we do want to provide help for them as long as they're not within the same building as our students attend. We emphasize with the investing of the education would only benefit the individual success and contribute to the city overall well-being of the economic growth through our students, instead of shutting down AMA, putting Mr. Dana Hammond's 20 years of work that he established the school for the inner city students, and where they can actually get an education. So what we would like to have is safety for our students, safety for the instructors, and to make sure that AMA doors stay open. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm sorry, could you tell me your name again, please, ma'am? Okay. It's all right. It's okay. It's okay. Next speaker, please. Sorry, I'm just trying to keep track of who I called. So, ma'am, your name?
My name is Mary Tassian Williams.
I
Mary Tassian Williams.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Speaker, which item would you like to speak to?
Item 9.
You'll have 1 minute.
Hi, my name is Rebecca. I am the admissions director at Academy of Media Arts. I can tell you we started with 148 students, and due to all this situation with drugs and homeless on our facility, we've lost more than 50 or 60 kids. Today is actually our last day there, and it really hurts me because these kids were really happy and have always been happy with us. And it just saddens me because I've been there, and it's hard to get a community and feel like the way we do our high school, it's like we're at home. And knowing that this is happening to our kids, it saddens me. It's really sad.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, please.
Speaker, which item would you like to speak to?
Item 9.
You'll have 1 minute.
Yes. Hello. My name is Jesse Altamirano. I am a teacher to these bright, young, beautiful minds that we've all let down today. You've heard my students. You've heard each of them. Los Angeles has lost a great school today, a cultural place that these students can come to learn, to feel safe, to feel welcomed. Los Angeles has spoken otherwise. Every student, every child deserves to feel safe in school. What Los Angeles has allowed is cruel punishment to these smart young minds. It's a privilege to teach. Along with that privilege comes a higher responsibility to make sure that each student feels safe. We can all say that, yes, we value education and, that it's the most important thing. However, Los Angeles is not allowing each and every one of these students to feel safe, welcomed in their environment.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Next speaker, please.
Which item would you like to speak to, Speaker?
I would like to speak to number 9, please.
You'll have 1 minute.
Hi, my name is Jared Lamar Williams, and I'm a teacher, a fashion teacher at AMA. And I think that it is very, it's very unfair how things have been going. If you have $67 million, I feel, and you guys are putting this into this program, I'm trying to figure out how these transients and these homeless people, how are they staying and extending? We understand that you guys have done it for as long as you guys have done it, as far as keeping the inside program at the hotel that it's at. But the question is, why extend it longer? What exactly is going on? We understand that it's cold outside, but these also are kids that need to be educated. Everybody here that is in this building, that is in front of me, has some sort of education. If your education was cut short because of a homeless person, where would you be? How would the situation work out for you? These are young kids, and they're trying to get to where you are. You've been where they have been. You've sat in their seat before. Put yourself in their seat. Put your mind frame on their mind frame. This isn't the way things is supposed to be.
Much.
Thank you so much.
Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon, council members. My name is Chevet Fontaine. I'm going to speak to item 9.
You'll have 1 minute.
I can tell you, when I first got here, I had this all written out, and I've listened to everyone talk about this Inside Safe program, and it's a great concept. But when this incident happened that these students actually talked about, I was actually a security guard on scene. What I talked to afterwards was a caseworker who had this particular person. There are 400 people that you have housed at the LA Grand Hotel. There are 16 caseworkers to handle all of those individuals. And I have personally been involved in 3 incidents where those particular residents have come down high, drunk, intoxicated. The one on Wednesday was the most egregious one I've ever seen, where this guy was high on LSD, skipped down 4 steps at a time, attempted to go into the school, ended up getting pushed out of the school, scaled a 6-foot wrought iron fence, accosted a person on the street who had a vehicle, tried to carjack them, ran across the street thereafter, and started another fight. It took 5 LAPD police officers to secure that individual, and we had to lock down the school. So my question is, if you've got this money and you've got 16 caseworkers with this program, with all of this money that you're spending,
thank you, sir.
Why are they not getting help?
Thank you very much.
Which items would you like to speak to, Speaker?
Madam City Attorney, I'd like to speak on item 1, item 9, número 10 y 11, por favor.
You'll have 3 minutes.
Gracias. Oh, I want the students to learn about building and safety and its department, because these violations of annual inspections and costs is a complete failure of how our government at local level discriminates against brown and black people in our community. So don't be fooled by the pony show up here, because I've had experience going through homelessness myself and going through abatement costs caused by the city of Los Angeles in its process of appeals and objections. And you, the public, are a part of me. You are my future. Your job is to protect us, the public, from retaliation, discriminatory issues, and worst of all, 42 U.S.C. 1983 on these type of issues. Now, as far as number 9, since I got so much time, let's go to number 9. So much time. Here we go. Number 9. Verbal inside safe. What is inside safe, everybody? What is inside safe? Earlier, a man got to speak and was basically arrested simply for exercising his First Amendment here, and you witnessed it when the chairman...
That has nothing to do with item 9. Get on to the topic or your time is expired.
When I'm inside here, I don't believe I'm safe. And the administrative officer regarding this, whoever they may be, maybe for the record you can quote who that person may be, Mr. President. Who is the city administrative officer regarding inside safe? Because some of these kids were saying schools were not safe, sidewalks, which I 100% agree with, I'm not safe. Outside of the city, walking around in this so-called beautification, Jose Huizar gentrification, I'm not safe.
Okay, move on to your
Now,
next agenda item.
number 10 and 11. Regarding the court case 22 STCV 14719 for the record. Am I on topic? Am I on topic talking about Consul's relative 3 cases that this government that supports your families has continued to make payouts over the $100,000 mark when they could simply pay the problem down by satisfying in the courts? But we know we have a corrupted court system, because I've experienced it through Gary Ito at the Stanley Moss courts. The same way a gentleman today was speaking out under the First Amendment, and he was ruled out of order. Now, as far as number 11, Mr. Krikorian, I sure hope your friends that are the Armenian parties of Consul understand this.
Thank you.
Boop.
Next speaker, please.
Hi, my name is Carol Taylor.
Which items would you like to speak to, Speaker?
Item number 9.
You'll have 1 minute.
Hi, my question is, could any of you guys, mothers, fathers, grandparents, imagine receiving a call stating that your kid's school would be closed on Friday? I just landed at the doorsteps of Academy of Media Arts after 2 failed placements. We all know the complexities of getting into a good high school in LA. The 2 failed placements that we had experienced was very detrimental to my kids. My daughter has been severely beaten up, dragged, and the incident was posted on social media while the teacher, the substitute teacher, stood by and watched. So finding a safe environment was very important for me. My son also experienced a very traumatic situation where a kid jumped or was pushed from the 3rd floor of one of our schools. So landing at the doorstep of Damon Hammond and Academy of Media Arts was so important because it provided what I thought was a safe environment. Damon has spent his money. He's not LAUSD. He's not a charter.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm
and
afraid
he
your
needs
time is
support.
expired.
I know.
Thank you.
But what you've been doing recently, under the leadership of President Krikorian, is appalling. And, you don't have to love everything Spindler says to watch how he was molested today by the police. That was absolutely outrageous. And where the hell is Groth? Has he been given some kind of an exemption under civil service?
Thank you. Next caller, please.
Hi, it's Mighty Mighty, ma'am. Anyway, in Spokane, we've been listening to the little meeting y'all got going on. We just want to thank you all, those committee members, for failing the kids, because you have one job to do. That's prepare the kids for the future, make sure they have a brighter tomorrow. But obviously, you guys don't care enough to take care of the homeless issues around their school there. So now you have kids actually coming in here and they're telling you about the issues that they have. A lot of these kids, they've been traumatized before they even reach the age of 16 there. You know, you're welcome to try to do better, but I mean, you've already failed these kids you see in here today. So, you know, I guess y'all should probably, you know, get out and maybe let people come in here who are actually going to do something for the kids and make sure they want to, you know, work towards a brighter future. But, you know, just something y'all would take on. But y'all have a good.
Thank you. Next caller, please.
Just item 9, and I'm going to come back for general public comment. Item 9, to any of the students and Mr. Patterson who are there about item number 9, my name is Daniel Gus. I am a multi-award winning journalist. Go to danielgus.substack.com. Have Mr. Patterson contact me. Check his email account. I sent him an email twice this morning listening to you.
Mr. Gus, speak to the item, please.
I am. I'm talking about the corruption of item number 9. And broadly, I am telling that anybody who's there on item number 9, particularly the students and Mr. Patterson, check your email. I will help you. You are already getting a great education about how government is corrupt and is cheating you while you're being sacrificial lambs on item number 9. I'm going to give you an education on what to do about it. I will be your voice. The LA Times will not. DanielGus.substack.com.
Thank you. Next speaker, please. Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Yeah, hi. Item number 9.
You'll have 1 minute.
Yeah. Homeless, we need to do something about the homeless situation. We need to give them some shelter. It has been fucking cold in Canoga Park. It went down to 32 degrees every night this week. We need to do something about getting the homeless some shelter. I'll come back for general public comment.
Thank you. This is Ruth. I'm unhoused. In September, I was able to obtain a city administrative officer report about Inside Safe participant statuses. At the time, only 17 people had gotten permanent supportive housing, and only 21 people had gotten federal housing vouchers. So that's 38 out of 1,590 participants that actually got permanently housed. There was another number, I think like in maybe more than 100 that got time-limited subsidies, but it was in the news recently that time-limited subsidies, everybody got evicted from those because the money that was supposed to go to the rent was taken by nonprofits, particularly Hopix and Home at Last. So none of these exits to Inside Safe have been permanent housing except for 38 of them. There were more than 1,000 emergency housing vouchers when Inside Safe started. So those could have been linked to the beds in Inside Safe and people.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, please.
Inside Safe, we're getting a verbal report here. I just, what are we doing? Everything is too little, 10 years too late. The same way that you're now handling things with corruption at City Hall. And a broken and corrupted government can't deliver real solutions on this. I think it's amazing. Kevin De Leon was accepting money from someone who set an encampment on fire in his district. What does that say about the people that are going to be participating in this discussion? I hope we actually do hear from the mayor today. Councilmember Krikorian got really snarky with somebody on the phone the other day saying that, oh no, the only mayors that participate in meetings are council members that are part of the body. That's not the case. I mean, for the most part, yes. But other cities in California, the mayor might be the presiding officer, or they might have the simple practice of the mayor attending and participating in meetings. Even, at an ad hoc basis, you can look at Chicago or New York City or San Francisco. It's not unheard of to see the mayor a few times a year come onto the council floor and participate in a meeting. We'd see that with Villaraigosa, but we don't have that culture now. So I just think it's important to not be misleading to the public about that reality. We have chosen this kind of culture.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Kwan. Next speaker, please.
My heart goes out to these students who cannot safely learn in school because of a homeless shelter, Inside Safe program. I just wanted to say this very clearly. Inside Safe programs does not belong on campus or near campus. And when I hear students complaining that they're that there's homeless people shooting up and doing other explosive activities, that's unacceptable. That's totally unacceptable. And you're basically ruining their childhood years. You're ruining their high school years of enjoying their time in high school. And let me tell you guys something. I hope you guys are aware that if something happens to a student getting assaulted by a homeless person because of Inside Safe program, be prepared to be sued by having lawsuits being filed on behalf of these students from their parents. I hope you guys are aware of that. You guys are going to be liable if something happens to these students.
Thank you.
Because of the Inside.
Thanks very much. Next caller, please.
I'm trying to harness some diplomacy right now. Because what's been frustrating, especially on the on the heels of hearing the testimony of a lot of these young people, and one of the issues that I raised just a couple of days ago is what I feel has been an inequitable distribution of the resources that are wholly controlled by the mayor's office. And so with that, I'm just going to start. You indicated 34 operations, one per council district, but some council districts have received multiple operations. And so can you tell me what has been the process of identifying and prioritizing which encampments have been prioritized for encampment resolution, and what is the methodology to determine where these individuals get placed, where it's prioritized, and what is the selection process? Because you've got 15 council districts all struggling with the same thing. There's been a lot of effort that even preceded the mayor being here. A number of the council members that have been involved, as I shared with you, I've been on the committee for homelessness, addressing homelessness since 2017. And so there's been a lot of pioneering efforts that a number of us even preceding, we've learned a lot of lessons. The goal is not to relearn the lessons of what works versus what doesn't work. And we don't want to relearn what doesn't work. But I find ourselves in a circumstance where we're continuing, and I think the conversations that we're having today, or the testimonies that we received today, is a reminder that what's being enabled is an environment of what hasn't worked. And so my question is, what is the process? How have you determined which council districts or which areas have been prioritized for encampment resolution?
Thank you, Councilwoman. And it was a pleasure meeting with you and Mayor Bass just a couple of days ago. Very much appreciate your leadership and collaboration. So the Inside Safe initiative has completed 34 operations. As I mentioned, one in every council district. And we are in the process now of developing the schedule for the next quarter. The Inside Safe Director, Anita Wells, has provided to every council office a link to a new portal to be able to submit requests. So to the point that you've raised in terms of being able to gauge need and requests, we have introduced a new portal to be able to do that. I will also say that on a monthly basis, we are providing through the HEA report a list of all Inside Safe operations that are being completed by council district, the number of people that are being served, and a status update in terms of the level of services. With regard to your question regarding how the team prioritizes the requests as they make their way through our office, there are several considerations that are weighed into the decision. One is the service provider capacity. Do we have a service provider in the area? Are they available? Do they have the capacity to provide assistance? Second, do we have interim housing available? Do we have a motel, a hotel? Do we have a home key interim site? Third, what are the public health and public safety considerations? Can we mobilize our partners to be part of the operation? Fourth, what is the overall sort of need of the population that we will be serving? And also the distribution of resources and how quickly we will be able to mobilize those resources. So there is a criteria that has been established, Councilwoman. I look forward to working with your office and with all council members as we go into 2024 to refine the process. I think that 34 in 2023 for a new initiative is something that we should be very proud of. However, we need to continue to scale and look at ways to bring this service in a more sort of frequent basis to all council offices, all council districts.
So when you indicated, based on where the available rooms were, are you suggesting that the placements of the operations, so if there was an operation in a certain council district, that the individuals per that operation were placed in that district because there was an identified location? Or are all of these encampment resolutions, are the individuals placed in those same districts?
Well, first, I think it's important for us to not lose sight of what we're doing here. We're saving lives. We're moving people inside.
No, I understand. I want a yes or no answer.
We're saving lives. We're moving people inside. We do have limited resources in terms of interim housing availability within the district, and very appreciative that other council offices, when we're not able to find the housing, have helped and assisted with identifying interim housing outside of the council district if we are unable to find the housing and the services that are available.
So I just need to publicly share what my experience was, and I shared it with you, is that there was an identified motel in my district, and we had already been engaged in outreach efforts on my RV pilot, as I had shared with you. And in that process, all we needed was the rooms. But we were told by your predecessor that I couldn't have those rooms because you had a different operation coming from a different council district, and and the placement of those individuals were going to be in my council district. Meanwhile, we had already teed up over 40 RVs and 40 placements. We just needed the rooms. But we were told, no, you can't do that. We're going to do it this way. And so my question is, and we had clearly had the service providers, have the model that's now been shared and I think poorly implemented. I'll just say that out loud. But there have been examples that have, for me, caused a great deal of distrust in terms of the transparency of what this process looks like. And so So I guess the short answer is, and I appreciate what we're all here to do. We all have the same objective. We're trying to address homelessness. We're trying to find the most cost-effective and expedited way of solving this crisis. We're all on board with that. But the problem is when there's a disparity with how certain communities get treated or get the sense of urgency in response. And so while we had a service provider that was all ready to do some placements, we were told that we couldn't have access to those rooms. And so it further delayed progress in the work that we were doing in our own district, and it wasn't very collaborative. And again, this is unfortunately what you've now inherited, but this is the reality of where a lot of the frustration from even some of the young people that were here to provide testimony today, that's what it's born out of. And we have to really correct this and clean this up.
What I'd like to ask the question is not so much with regards to Inside Safe, maybe directly related to Inside Safe, but a lot more questions, and some other day we'll have that. But today we had a lot of impassioned, incredible, heartbreaking testimony from more than 50 students. The vast majority, if not all, students from AMA Academy, just a few blocks down the street from here on Figueroa, all black and brown students, and students, immigrant students. And I think what perhaps has really highlighted this was just a few days ago, today being Friday, on a Wednesday during school hours, You had a gentleman who broke into the school when the young boys and girls were actually in class. And this individual was purportedly violent, and it took 8 LAPD officers to take him down and to actually escort him outside of the school premises. We received here a packet from the Academy of Media Arts. This was not the first incident, but this has been many, many incidences happening the past year, at least the past year, perhaps even longer, from what I understand from the principal, Dana Hammonds. So we know this is not sustainable, and we know that with 4118s adjacent to an elementary school, a high school, a library, a nursery daycare center, and my heart goes out to all the young students here, and I just want to say, very impressive with how you articulated, the issue that you're living and how you sort of brought it home about being the future and how it is our responsibility to make sure that you have that future, that we are supportive of the policies to get folks off the street sooner rather than later, but folks sometimes conflate. And my question is here specifically, and I know that we have a date, a pending date, but I just want to make sure specifically, and I know that in H&H next week, Wednesday, this issue will be up also too, but could you give us a debrief, Ms. Castro, with regards to the demobilization, decommissioning plan of the LA Grand Hotel and when the Mayfair specifically will be opening up?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Council Member. Yes, so the LA Grand has an extension on that lease through June 30th of 2024.
Why? And I'm not to put you on the spot, but the success of the rehab of the Mayfair, obviously, with the transition, because obviously we don't want to be caught right in the middle, right? We're not ready yet, so we don't want folks to end up back on the streets again, right? So we're all on the same page. We just want to make sure that transition is as smooth as possible, because it is amazingly heartbreaking, again, to hear the principal, to hear the classroom teachers, to hear these young men and women, almost entirely black and brown and immigrant students, endure this, not just this one time, but it's happened on numerous occasions. And I do want to thank a handful of the council members who took the time to go out there and engage with the students and with the principal, which is very important to all of us. Just one quick update. I was able to speak with the owner of the Bonaventure Hotel. And there's a strong possibility that we can transition the students to the Bonaventure Hotel temporarily until we figure this out, whether A, better security measures, or B, just the complete decommissioning of the LA Grand Hotel as a whole. And the reason why I say this, and I say this subjectively, and I know you're new, Lourdes, and bienvenida, no? We welcome you. We want you to do fantastically well, because we know when you do fantastically well, we all do fantastically well as a city. But I can say this, for City 14, and this predates me, and all my predecessors, from City 14 and, Jan Perry when it was CD9 back in the day, City 14 has taken disproportionately the largest number of unhoused neighbors, not just within the city of LA, not just within the county, but within the state and the entire United States of America. We have been sort of the quote-unquote dumping ground, if you will, when politicians don't want to do what which is the hard work, which is, when they come after you, when they're going to recall you, you're going to build this housing, you're going to build that housing. Nope, well, you know what? Let's just send them over there. Wink, wink. And that's what that's what happened historically. And I think that we've done our share, if more than anyone else, probably in the state of California. I'll take Oakland, and I'll take San Francisco, and San Jose, San Diego, and every other major city in the state of California. And obviously the brunt is being bared by these young men and women here today. So we're looking forward. I know that you have a meeting soon with my chief of staff looking forward to a really productive meeting. Appreciate, so just want to make sure our decommissioning date is the end of June 30th of this year, 2024. Gracias.
Okay, thank you.
My next question really relates to what we are doing to keep communities around our inside safe interventions safe. And the reason I ask this is because we see the same story over and over again around our interim housing interventions. And in my district, we have inside safe motels, we have our ABH site, we have other interim housing, and it is the same. Needles, feces, garbage, crime, erratic and violent behavior. And I heard today in this council chamber some of the most profoundly disturbing public comment I have ever heard in the year that I've been here. It is not lost on me that children came here today to ask adults for help. And their cries have fallen on deaf ears over the last couple of years at their school. We have failed them. And I see this fact pattern playing out not only in encampments, but around our interim housing sites all over this city. And if you want us to lead our constituents to saying yes to housing options and interim housing, especially when it's low or no barrier, we have to set a good example. And from what I've heard today, we have failed to do that. So I'm just curious, what are we doing to ensure that neighborhoods and communities, especially children and schools adjacent to these locations, are safe and clean and accessible?
Yes. No, thank you, Councilwoman. We share your concern, and public safety and community safety is a priority, I think, for all of us. And so I just want to be careful not to draw an unintended sort of correlation that public safety issues are always tied to people that were formerly experiencing homelessness. But I understand the point that you're raising, that it is very important that we be thoughtful about how we address safety and security issues. I will say that as it relates to the LA grant and the testimony that was provided today, there is on-site 24/7 security that should be responding, but it's clear that maybe more needs to be done. As we work to mobilize an inside safe operation, an encampment resolution operation, there is a level of engagement with the community. LAPD is also a partner, and so we're engaging community residents to be more actively involved. And if you have some thoughts or recommendations in terms of what more we should be doing, be happy to speak with you and continue that conversation.
Okay,
Yes.
well, I will welcome that conversation. I do have thoughts about it, and the public safety aspect of this is something that I take very seriously. We're spending $1.5 billion every year on 1% of our city's population, and it is coming at the expense of kids and safety generally in our communities. And that's not acceptable for any of us, and we want to support the program. We support getting folks into whatever interventions we can, but we have an obligation to our neighbors, our constituents, and to kids to do this right and respectfully for them too. So thank you so much.
I want to speak on all items.
Go ahead.
and
Your
not
1
on
minute
general
begins now on general public comment.
42 U.S.C. 1983 politely, fuck you for entertaining us for this long day. It's a shame that you try to arrest a person simply for exercising his constitutional rights downstairs on the first floor this morning. Shame on you. Shame on you, Krikorian, because you discredit people for their First Amendment, the right to say and speak what's on their mind as opposed to your bullshit. You're a dictator, you're arrogant, ignorant, belligerent, And the fact of the matter, you're just plain stupid. That's why your red face and you're tapping your hand up there identifies you for what I have to say. So in the future, when you decide to hold the public away from the mic, let me remind you, don't be the jackass that you are, but you are technically an asshole. For the record, 42 U.S.C. 1983, under the color of law, asshole.
Next speaker. All right.
Caller,
so if
you
you'd
have
like to
1
offer
minute.
general public comment, go ahead and raise your hand now, please.
All items in general public comment.
So, Mr. Spindler, you were removed from this meeting, so you do not have the opportunity to speak during general public comment. Next caller.
Yep. So you had spent the first minutes of this 6-hour meeting with the dignitary from Bulgaria, yet you keep black and brown teenagers in queue waiting for hours and the rest of Los Angeles, and you're going to take a few people calling in? Why didn't you just take us all as the agenda flowed along, like Eric Garcetti did? Why didn't you take us all at the beginning, like the agenda says you would? Los Angeles, this is your corruption. DanielGus.substack.com. I have a new article showing how you can help me fight corruption, what I need from you. If you are a whistleblower, if you've documented the corruption, contact me, 100 words or less. Tell me what's going on, how to prove it, and what documents you have already. This is the type of corruption. This is the disregard they have.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Caller, you have 1 minute for general public comment.
Hi. If you're wondering why Angelenos distrust and dislike all of you, this is why. Your blatant disregard for working Angelenos, making the public wait 6 hours for general public comment, not following Rule 7 of the council rules. You can't you can't wonder why folks don't like you and don't want you in office anymore, any of you. And that includes those of you that are terming out. Like, your blatant disregard for the public, your blatant corruption. What are you guys even doing? I hope the FBI raids City Hall again.
Caller, you have 1 minute for general public comment.
Thank you. It's Eric Previn from Studio City, and I have to echo some of the prior comments. This is very, very disrespectful to Angelenos who, you know, they all come with different things to say, but they come for the same reason, to say them out loud to the council. And by going into a closed session to give a raise and to, by the way, Chief Moore, while you're in there, has stepped down, I assume you know. It's just a slap across the face of Angelenos. And I don't understand why Paul Krikorian and Bob Blumenfield with the little goatee and Marquise Harris Dawson think they can get away with it. They think that people don't notice that they've become draconian enemies of their own public. It's gross. And, to stick the Koreans and the Armenians and the Bulgarians and all the characters up front is really insulting to those countries, too, because they do take it as an honor, but it's really just a shameful badge that they, are being used to block people who did articulate today beautifully how horrifying some of the plans.
Thank you. Next caller, please.
All right. So it's now almost 4 o'clock. The meeting started at 10 o'clock, which means we're now 6 hours into the meeting. Let's see. Council Rule 7 says that general public comment generally shall be taken up at or near the beginning of each regular meeting. Do you really think that 6 hours into the meeting is at or near the beginning of the meeting? Does anyone on this council really think that? And the council will say that, yes, that general public, that to change the rules of the council, you have to get a 2/3 majority vote of the council. It's 4 o'clock. It's not at or near the beginning of the meeting. I'm almost home. I left at like 2. That's how long you're in closed session, wasting further time. It's so ridiculous. It's just, and let's call for a ceasefire in Gaza. Why have you introduced that
Thank you.
motion yet?
Next caller, please. We'll take 2 more callers.
Rob Kwan, Mr. Krikorian, our council's lawyer, you know, the First Amendment, I don't support what Mr. Spindler says, but he booed while people were applauding the speaker. If you were clapping out of turn and disrupting somebody, that'd be disrupting. If you were booing out of turn, it'd be disrupting. But in booing while people are clapping and celebrating, like, that's, you got to be content neutral in how you approach these things, sir. Anyways, I hope you enjoy your long weekend. You work so fucking hard to disenfranchise the people of the city of LA. It's not easy to make them wait out 6 hours. I hope you're all proud of yourselves. And I just, it's unfortunate, and it's just so revealing. When you deal with the consequences of this, this is why. This is why people have to do this. So.
Next caller, please.
Again, echoing the 6-hour meeting today, we went from the attention to what we were there for to bring attention to the city council. It's not a horseshoe anymore. It's a circus. It's not fair to the public. Even if our information isn't used, at least listen to the public. Have that respect for those $240,000 you get. Give back $100,000 back to the communities you represent. You can't make it with 140, then just imagine your constituents, double income at under 70. Come on, guys. Quit being so greedy and be more responsible for the people you represent. God bless. Have a blessed week.